Hi, my name's Daisy and today I'm doing my January wrap-up. However, I'm not adding on my TBR because I never do those and I suck at those because I just don't pick the books off them. I pick another book and then it just fails, so we won't do that. I ended up reading 11 books. Although some of them were smaller than the other books, I still read 11 things, and I think that's pretty impressive, so let us get on. The first book that took me into the new year was The Perfect Game by J. Sterling, and this is about a guy who's a baseball player and he's working his way up to the major leagues, and there's a girl involved, and I just moved the button. Oops-a-daisy. That's what happens when you have buttons either side. I did enjoy the book, however, I don't think maybe I enjoyed it as much as some other people would if they really loved new adult. Then you can see I went on a contemporary binge for the next few books because I have Losing It by Cora Carmack, and this, it's a hard one because it's a good sort of book-ish, but it's still not because he's the teacher, she's the student, and there's something about that storyline, even though they're like consenting adults and stuff, there's something about the storyline that really bothers me, whatever book it is. Thanks, alarm, for going off. I don't really want to retake that. Oh well. There is no point showing in the next two book covers because they're not actually book covers, they're just literally just text. But I read Tempting the Best Man and Tempting the Player by Jennifer L. Armentrout, who writes as J. Lynn, and she kind of has this Gamble Brothers series and she's working her way through, kind of like how with the Wait For You series where they're sort of all interlinked, but these are actually brothers. And in the first novel, the best man and then the groom's sister have kind of an awkward thing where they're on the retreat for the wedding and then everyone's trying to get them together. And then the second one, which is Tempting the Player, that guy is a baseball player. What is it with all the baseball player and the new adult? I don't know. And he ends up getting caught with a girl, and then his image is so just bad that she's paid to be his girlfriend. And yeah, that one kind of bothered me as well slightly because it's kind of like the paying. Another thing I don't have a cover for is Rome by Jay Crownover, and I actually got to interview Jay Crownover for her blog tour of Rome, which will be going up on the 8th of February, and I will link it to you when eventually it goes up because I was really excited about it and I really did like that book. That was in another series and it was the Marked Men series. I do have Rule on my shelf and I just really liked it because I'm getting into tattoo kind of stuff now and I want to get a tattoo, and it just was really nice because all the guys in there are all getting tattoo people, and not necessarily because this guy has been in the military, but it was just interesting seeing two people who are really broken come together. And I don't think I've actually read something with kind of like a military person in from contemporary side of things, so it was really enjoyable. Then let's get on to the Vampire Academy novels that I finally finished off. I read Spiritbound by Rochelle Mead and Last Sacrifice by Rochelle Mead. Oh my god, this one I'm kind of just, I want it to carry on because there's so many stories that could carry on from this, and I actually had a discussion with my friend the other day and it was just, there are so many things that you could do with this. Unfortunately, kind of Bloodlines is the spin-off, so you kind of have to go through that to get any Rose sort of action. I was really surprised by some of the stuff in this book because it was an amazing end of a series. I both loved them. They were really big books, so proud of myself. Another Vampire Academy related thing, and this is the graphic novel. Yes, it is really tiny, but I really enjoyed it. It was kind of like a recap, even though Vampire Academy doesn't come out here till April 4th, which is annoying because it's going to clash with Divergent. I wanted to kind of catch up on it and find something that was, if I wanted to kind of look at the series again but not have to read all the books, I could kind of go through this. And then I had a actual manga, which was the first thing. So this month I actually delved into a new genre, which is obviously graphic novels, manga. How do you say it? Manga? Manga? I don't know. I really am inept in this genre, and this was the Infernal Devices Clockwork Angel. It had some really beautiful art in it. It took me a while with these books to actually figure out where I was meant to be reading from because they don't follow like in a this pattern. It's kind of like this and then here and then there, and then yeah, it was a bit confusing at the start, and thankfully I didn't have to read it from the left because I know that's what actually traditional manga is. You have to read from this side to that side, which is very strange for us. And we have a book that I really did not like, and this was Etiquette and Espionage by Kel Garriger. And it's not that I don't like... Actually no, that would be a lie and I'm not going to tell a lie. I didn't like it. It's steampunk. I didn't know it was steampunk. I have found out it's not for me. Felt like the writing was really complex in this, and often it actually gave me a bit of a headache because it was so hard to read. I actually sat there and just forced myself to read, which is the most awful thing, but I wanted to finish the book and see if it did get any better. I would not be picking up the second one. It's not that it won't be for everyone, because if you like steampunk and you like more detailed description novels, then that would probably be a good suggestion for you. However, I was not looking for that. When I bought this, I thought it was literally just a school. I did not think that there was vampires and werewolves and robots and everything else, and it doesn't understand in my brain steampunk, because if you can have a robot and move it, why can't you have a car? Like, I know why you can't have a car, but it doesn't make logical sense in my brain, and my glasses are slipping down my nose. However, they did have some funny quotes in this, so I'm going to read you one of them that made me laugh, because after all, it made me laugh, so I still kind of enjoyed it. The quote, I don't actually know how to say the main character's name, I haven't figured it out still, so I'm just going to call her Safrina, because I think that's how you're meant to say it. Very well, Miss Temnick. Tell me a little about yourself. Are you well educated? Safrina considered the question seriously. I don't believe so. Excellent. Ignorance is most undervalued in a pupil. And have you killed anyone recently? Safrina blinked. Pardon? Oh, you know, a knife to the neck, or perhaps a cleverly noosed cravat. Safrina said only, not my preferred diversion. Oh dear, how disappointing. Well, don't you fret, we shall soon find you a useful hobby. Then we have a book that has become one of my favourites from 2014, and it is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, and I wish I could rate this 1,000,000 stars on Goodreads because it's just so perfect, and I love it, and oh, it makes me feel so many feels that are so good, and I think I want to marry Levi. Those were my books for the month of January, and I'm hoping that February is just as good of a reading month, but I want to know, how many books did you read in January? Or if you do by page count, let me know how many pages you read in total, because mine would be slightly less than the amount of books that I've read, because some of them were shorter, which was really interesting. Someone said the other day that they count by page count rather than books, so maybe I'll do that one year. However, I am now off. I don't know why I'm doing this, like Sailor. Okay, alright, goodbye, Sailor.